Hi everyone, welcome back to Defi Daily. Today we're going to talk about options and more specifically about Ribbon Finance that has been just launched also on Avalanche. Before to start guys, I would like to ask you to subscribe to the channel if you are new, and the best way to sustain me is always leave a big thumbs up, drop a comment, and also remember all the contents in this channel just for educational purpose and nothing has to be intended as a financial advice. If you want to invest in anything, that's great, but do always your own research first. Okay guys, so let's jump into the topic and into the Ribbon Finance platform. As I told you before, they have just launched the availability also on Avalanche. So right now the same service is available on Ethereum and on Avalanche. Obviously the kind of assets that are supported in each chain are different. So we will see in a moment how does it work. Ribbon Finance is just a way to automate a couple of strategies in a moment when we are using options. I don't know if you are familiar with the options, but an option could be a put option or a call option. I will not go through a whole tutorial on how does it work options, but what I want to say is just a way to set a price at which you are selling or buying a certain kind of asset. It is just another kind of product that is typical from the traditional finance market. And what we are seeing into the last couple of months is that many different platforms are bringing the different kind of products that we are used to have into the traditional finance. They are bringing them into the DeFi. And what he is doing, Ribbon Finance, is leveraging the different protocols that are offering, for example, options, in order to offer to the users some automated strategy that it's like depositing your assets inside the protocol and forget about them. In this way, they are able to save your fees because I have just to deposit one time, and after that will be directly the protocol to manage for you all the funds, and moving a lot of money is much easier to save funds. Not to mention that they will do all the different steps in order to give you the yield that is maximized as possible. Going through their website, as you can see, the interface is pretty clean. And what I really love, and it will be even more clear in the moment when we will jump into the application, is that they are explaining literally everything step by step. So even if you are a new user, you don't really know what is, for example, an option, even for you, this kind of platform is something that will explain to you exactly how the protocol works. And it's something that I really like because they are really transparent in the way of telling people how their funds will be used. And to me, it's something that is really the basis if we want to build some trust. As you can see, the mission of the Ribbon Finance is bringing structured products to DeFi. Structured products is just another way to call the traditional product that we are seeing into the traditional financial system, and they are bringing them into the DeFi. Ribbon uses financial engineering to create a structured product that delivers sustainable yield. The whole idea is always creating automated strategies that are able to provide you the yield that should be maximized, but at the same time producing with at a lower risk and into a way that requires from your side the lower effort as possible. They are backed by also a couple of important investors, including Coinbase Venture, Scalar Capital, Dragonfly Capital, and so on. So as you can see, we are not in front of a small project. We are not just in front of an experiment. We are in front of a protocol that is doing and its work into the correct way, and they are pushing hard into this kind of new idea. And the idea, as I said before, is bringing what we are used to have into the traditional finance into the DeFi. Because as I said many times, DeFi, even if it's literally skyrocketing, is still something really small. The opportunities to build something greater are so many that we truly need many and more platforms that are able to improve the different services and offer something that we can have on the other side when we talk about TradFi. Let's jump into the platform. All you have to do is just to press start earning. As you can see, right now I'm connected to Ethereum, but you can switch also to Avalanche. The only difference right now on Avalanche is available just 1 volt. You can find all the vaults that are available right now here. As you can see, we are talking about 6 different vaults, and for each of them you can see the current projected yield. Obviously, we are talking just about a projected yield. It doesn't mean that you will guarantee to receive that kind of yield. But let's have a look on how does it work. As you can see on top, you can find 2 different labels. Covered call and put selling. Let's starting with the cover call. On top you can find the asset on which is based this kind of strategy. In this case we are talking about AVE, that is the token of the homonymous money market. And here, and this is really nice, you have a step-by-step explanation. As you can see, you can go up going on, and you will see exactly how your funds will be used. We can go through it together. So let's step. Vault receives the deposit, so you have just to deposit your tokens inside the vault. After that, an algorithm will decide the strike price. The strike price is just the price that will trigger the option, and as you can see is determined by an algorithm. Going on, vaults means options. Every Friday at 11 UTC, the vaults means European EVE call option. If you don't know what is it, you can just point on the phrase and you will see that on the screen will appear an explanation and also a button to learn more. And I personally really like their interface and the user experience because it's so straightforward that even if for you it's the first time that you are using options, you can discover them step by step in a really easy way. As you can see, they are using a partner, in this case by depositing its EVE balance as a collateral in OPIN vault. I don't know if it's pronounced correctly, but I think that you understood what does it mean. So they are using a partner to mint some option. After that, the next step will be Vault sells option via Gnosis auction. Gnosis is another platform that will allow you to sell the options. Remember that in the moment when we are talking about covered call, as you can see from here, it means that the investor selling call option owns an equivalent amount of the underlying security or asset. So it means that at the same time that you are selling the call option, you are owning also the equivalent amount of the same asset. In this case, you are selling an option for AVE and you are owning an equivalent amount of AVE. To sell the option, you will directly use a Gnosis auction. That is a tool that is doing this job for you. After that, Vault collects interest. The EVE earned from the Gnosis auction is collected by the Vault and represents the yield of the strategy. What will happen at the end? There are 2 different scenarios. The first scenario is out of the money. It means that at the moment when the call expires, so at the deadline, there are 2 different scenarios. The first scenario is that the call is out of the money, so it's good for the owner of the EVE tokens because all the amount of EVE will go back to the Vault and inside the Ribbon Finance platform. If the call is in the money, the difference between the price of the call and the real price will be taken from the vault in order to repay the price into the call that has just expired. As you can understand, everything is automated and is provided by a bot that is doing all the difficult stuff for you. Down here you can find also the vault performance. As you can see, it is just quite young because we are still talking from the 3rd of December when we are talking about this vault, and from that moment on this vault has generated around 3.35%. Another thing that I really love by them is this. They are really clear on what are the risks about using this kind of service. And as you can see, the primary risk for running this covered call strategy is that the vault may incur in a weekly loss in the case where the call options sold by the vault expire in the money. As I said you before, in the moment when I was telling what will happen in the moment of the expiration of the call, is that in the moment when it is in the money, you are at risk of losing money. meaning that the price of EVE is above the strike price of the call option minted by the vault, and you will have to cover that kind of amount. So that's true that the bot is automated in order to minimize the risk and guarantee the maximum return on investment. So it's like finding a balance, studying what is going on into the market in order to provide you the maximum yield, but at the same time you have to be aware that it's not 100% secure. You have just to deposit your money and you will start for sure earn some incredible interest, because in any case right now the projected APY of this vault is around 58%, so quite a really high amount of percentage. So as you can understand, the platform is pretty straightforward, and this is something that, especially when we are talking about options, it is something that is really important, because most of the time people that are not used to invest into the traditional finance market, they truly don't understand what is the difference between a cover call, put selling, and so on. But through an interface that is so easy, it makes really accessible also for a basic user, so people that is just approaching to this market, to put in place a strategy that is able to leverage also the options. Obviously, if you are a more expert user and you prefer to make it by your own because you know the market, you have plenty of different other tools. But if you are just a user, you are just at the beginning of your journey with the options, the Ribbon Finance could be something that can be good for you. Obviously, before using, what I suggest to you is read the documentation and try to have clear how does it work, because that's true that is quite straightforward, but it's also true that it's really important to have really clear in mind how does it work. There is also another feature that is called staking, that was a liquidity mining program, that was a program to create all the RBN tokens, that are the tokens of the Ribbon Finance platform. Right now this liquidity program has ended because all the tokens were minted and distributed. I don't know if any other kind of services and feature like this one will come into the future. In any case, the real power of this platform is making easy what it is not so easy, because using option and building strategies with option is something that it's not so immediate if you are a beginner users. And through the Ribbon Finance platform, that's great. It is going so smoothly that I'm really quite impressed. And using it also in Avalanche, it is something that will also allow to you to having the opportunity to try this platform with a lower level of fees, so even greater. So guys, as always, if you have any kind of question, just write me to the comment section below and I will be more than happy to listen from you. Remember that if you like this kind of content, if you want to sustain me into this job, the best way to do it is just leaving a big thumbs up and drop a comment, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. Bye guys.